The previously, the criminal law was there, which was prepared by the English people. And their thinking was that they were colonial people and they wanted to rule us. And so the criminal laws were more of the punishing nature and not of preventing or other side. But since we have independence, about 75 years we have completed. And at this stage, we could form a new criminal law. And it is passed in Parliament and Rajya Sabha, and it is signed by the President, and it is now the new criminal law has come into the existence. So what have they done? They have not amended the previous criminal law, but they have peeled off, means totally cancelled that law. The thing is left from that law. But while doing it, so many cases are there pending in the courts. The cases which are lodged in the court, they will continue with the same law, old law, because that is lodged under that law. But now, the new cases will be lodged from new law from the 2023. The IPC is now called as Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. It was the Indian Penal Code, it was previously called as. And the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, now the Indian the Code of Criminal Procedure, CRSP, that is previously to be called, is now called as Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. And इधर से आजा कुरेश, इधर से आ जाओ, अरे अकेला कैसा बैठेगा? और तीसरा जो इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट, that is the Bharatiya Sakshya Sanhita. Now this Indian Evidence Act is divided into two, that is the criminal evidence and civil evidence. So both they have not changed. Civil evidence still there is going on, but criminal evidence they have totally changed it, and now the whole criminal law is totally changed. And now whatever the new cases are there, they are lodged according to the new law, and old cases which are already lodged will continue with that. कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है क्या साउंड का? बहुत बड़ा आवाज है. परफेक्ट है, ठीक है. So the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, this is the book, that is a bare act which is available at present, and it is a very easy and very good. So I have printed this for your sake. You can have, anybody can have that with a minimum cost. An act to consolidate and amend the provisions relating to the offences and for matters connected therein with a incidental to it. So this act is for the matters of the criminal. It is proposed to enact a new law by repealing the Indian Penal Code to streamline the provisions relating to the offences of the penalties. So what I have said just now, it is the same. The new additions which were not there in the previous criminal law, and that is proposed to provide first time community services as one of the punishment for the petty offences. This community services was not there in anywhere in the previous criminal law, but that was a colonial law. Now we are independent. We should know that if small thing we do the crime, so we should provide some services to our society, because we have done the crime for the society. So from that nature, the punishment is started as a social work. To deal effectively with the problem of organized crimes and terrorist activities, new offences of the Terrorist Act and the organized crime have been added to the bill with deterrent punishment. Previously, there was anti-national activity. Now, it is not that anti-national, it is not now, because there was a ruler and we were Indians. And the ruler, against the ruler was everything was anti-national. But now it is a terrorist. We are ruling. We the Indians are ruling in India. And we are the prime of the India. But the terrorists are there. And for that purposes, they have organized the crimes and Terrorist Act has been added to the criminal, which was not there previously. A new offense on the acts of the amend rebellion services activities, specialist activities, or endangering the sovereignty of the unity and the integrity of the India has also been added. The fields. So they have added what? Whenever the integrity of the India is going to be broken by the people, they stop it, and for that there is a provision, which was not there in previously. They wanted to divide this area, that area, this area, English colonial, the kings, where their rule was divide and rule. But now we don't want that, we want unite and rule. And from that aspect of that, there is there is a union to form, and whenever there is a tendency of dividing or endangering the sovereignty of the unity of the integrity of the India, there are the laws are made now. Some important clauses related to the medical profession when we are now dealing with because of the medical profession, that is 304A. Previously the table death and all that used to come, now it has 101, 105, and 304B, the 4B, that is 106(1), the causing death by negligence. 19, and so we have enumerated, and we are going to discuss in detail, so I am not going through that. Old IPC 304B, new BNS section, so instead of reading that, causing death by negligence. Whenever caused the death by a person by doing any rash or negligent act for amounting to culpable homicide shall be punished with imprisonment of either description of. So this the punishment is for other people, that is 7 years, but for doctors it is 2 years. But punishment is there, but there are so many afterwards clauses that can save the doctor, and those are 101. Culpable homicide is not murder when the person whose death is caused being above the age of 18 years suffer death or take the risk of death with his consent. So if the consent is proper, if you have taken the consent, even the death happens, it doesn't fall in the culpable homicide, and so it is not punishable. If the consent is not there or the consent is not proper, you may be punished for 2 years behind the bar. So the importance of the consent has come very large, very important, and how to take the consent. For that, the All India Ophthalmic Association has published a booklet, and it is being transferred for many other languages also, state languages, so that they can write down the consent like that. If in that pro forma, if the consent is really taken and not the signature only, because I specially made the provision there, I myself was to look up to the medical legal. So instead of the signature, because I have experience that signatures, they do wrong signatures or false signatures, and in the court they said this is not my signature, and they can prove that that is not his signature. So I have made, previously it was signature or thumb, now signature and thumb. So this is a very important. Nowadays we should see that whenever a patient comes to your OPD, first take his thumb and capture his signature. So identification is nowhere becomes the problem, because everywhere identification is the problem in the court. Doctor cannot identify her because some previously used to write some moles, somewhere hair moles, and there are so many moles on the body or something. So it is not. But nowadays it is easy. Let's put the thumb. So explanation for the purpose of this subsection, registered medical practitioner means a medical practitioner that specially nowhere in the previous criminal law medical practitioner or RMP was said. But now it is specifically said the RMP is exempted for this after taking the consent. Explanation: this session is subject to the some provisions as exception 1 of the section 101. This is the section in which double death generally requires under say 100, but now 106(1), that is with consent there is no punishment, that I have already explained. Accident in doing a lawful act done by accident of misfortune and without any criminal intention, that is not a negligence. An act likely to cause harm but done without criminal intention and provisions of the other harm. So all these acts are there because there is no doctor wants that his patient should be troubled or should receive the harm. But for doing the good thing, he does the thing, may be reflect in the bad way, and so all these are there. Act 30 is done in good faith for benefit of a person without consent. So for the benefit of the person without consent also can be done, and this is Bharatiya Nagarika Sakshya Sanhita, and this is in no addition is definition, and thank you very much. So all these is totally changed.
So thank you, Dr. Deshpande, for that wonderful exposition.